Hello, lazy gamers. This is Phol Reidan, your fellow lazy gamer. Today, I'm going to showcase my PVE skill setup. In this video, I will focus exclusively on the essential skills for my book Sorcerer, a melee damage dealer that relies heavily on magic damage and autospell. Feel free to allocate any excess skill points wherever you see fit. For the mage skill tree, I only take Firebolt to level 9. Upgrading it to level 10 or investing points into other bolt skills is completely unnecessary. And I will explain the reason later in this video. Additionally, Quiet Mind is a solid option once you have finished maxing out your core skills. Moving on to the Sage path, I have maxed out all of the following skills. Advanced Book forces your character to deal melee magic damage when wielding a book. This skill provides a substantial boost to your magic attack, while also increasing your final attack speed based on your raw INT stat and your weapon's refinement level. Autospell grants every normal attack a 15% chance to cast an elemental bolt based on your active elemental stone. As a reminder, the stones are Flame Heart for fire, Great Earth for earth, Rough Wind for wind, and Mystic Frozen for water. The level of the elemental bolt cast by autospell is determined by dividing your allocated bolt skill points by 3. If your bolt skill is at level 10, the calculation results in a level of 3.33. However, since game mechanics don't allow fractions, it rounds down to level 3. This is exactly why I recommend capping your bolt skill at level 9, especially if you are tight on skill points right now. To expand on that math, our baseline autospell bolt level is 3. However, for every 500 points of INT you possess, your autospell bolt gains an extra level. Therefore, to fully max out the elemental bolts cast by your autospell, you will need a minimum of 3,500 INT. Any stat points beyond this threshold will still increase your magic attack, SP, and overall damage, but will no longer increase the level of your auto-casted bolts. Free cast is straightforward, giving you a flat increase of 30 raw INT. You can also move freely as you cast skills. Magic Rod is incredible for both magical sustainability and amplifying your own offensive power. With precise timing, you can absorb incoming magic damage from enemy players or monsters, while simultaneously boosting your own INT based on a combination of your stats and your target stats. This effect can stack up to 5 times and lasts for 20 seconds. It is incredibly helpful if you haven't hit that 3,500 INT milestone yet. Just keep its limitations in mind, as it won't provide a permanent INT boost throughout the entire fight. Elemental Mark provides a decent amount of micro-elemental magic damage that lasts for 10 seconds. Its element adapts to your active elemental stone, and it also drains your target's SP during PvP matches. Element Bonus simply serves to further enhance the effectiveness of your Elemental Mark. Elemental Field requires level 5 bolt enhancement and is entirely optional. Personally, I use it primarily to secure the first hit during boss hunts. However, there is another, albeit tedious, way to utilize it. Before activating the rest of your buffs and skills, equip an elemental stone that matches the element of the boss you are fighting, and cast Elemental Field. This will boost your elemental damage reduction by up to 40%. Once cast, you can switch back to your preferred elemental stone and pop your buffs. Unfortunately, this trick only works when the monster stands completely still. Because players and bosses are constantly moving during combat, this strategy isn't always ideal. Now, let's dive into the Professor's skill tree. I combine Spiderweb with a Flame Heart Stone to amplify my fire damage by up to 30% for 3 seconds, which also locks the target in place. Spell Fist infuses your normal melee attacks with the element of your active elemental stone. It also increases your final hit by 10%, adding an extra 1% for every 50 INT. Additionally, using this skill grants a 30% chance to deal bonus elemental damage to your target. Striking deals scaling damage based on how much HP your target has already lost. Naturally, this skill shines brightest during longer, drawn-out battles. Monster Knowledge is a passive buff that increases both your damage output and your survivability against specific elemental monsters. Elemental knowledge further enhances the elemental damage of both you and your party members, scaling alongside your active elemental stone. Finally, we have arrived at the Sorcerer path. Summon Spirit provides you with a protective companion and a secondary health pool equal to 900% of your magic attack. The element of the Spirit matches your active stone. It inherits all of your combat stats except for your HP, and it will actively attack your target. The Summon Spirit remains active as long as it has health or you have SP. It will disappear the moment its HP or your SP runs dry. Elemental action can only be triggered while your spirit is active. It commands your Summon Spirit to unleash an AoE magic attack matching its specific element. Elemental Shield is a fantastic utility skill, though it requires you to sacrifice your active elemental spirit to use it. This skill grants your entire party a protective barrier that nullifies melee and ranged physical damage up to 20 times over a 20-second duration. With proper timing, this can easily save your core party members during critical moments. It is best used when your Summon Spirit skill is completely off cooldown and ready to be recast immediately. Spirit Sympathy enhances your elemental damage by 2% per stack, up to a maximum of 10 stacks, while also granting a flat bonus of 2 to your combat movement speed. Spirit Recovery manages your elemental spirit's health bar. Whenever your auto spell successfully triggers an elemental bolt against a target, your spirit heals for an amount equal to 400% of your magic attack. Keep in mind that this healing mechanic is completely unaffected by recovery bonuses or PvP penalties, which makes it a core skill for summoners like us. Spirit Insignia is another great utility skill that continuously heals party members while dealing elemental damage to enemies, with contrasting elemental attribute, standing within its radius. You can certainly experiment with Spirit Control and Spirit Possession if you enjoy them, but I rarely use them myself as I feel they don't provide the impactful stat boosts I'm looking for. That covers all the core skills for my book Sorcerer build. But before we wrap up, I want to visually demonstrate why I only invested points into Firebolt and skipped the others entirely. First, let's select the Flame Heart Stone and cast Auto Spell. When we attack the training dummy, you can clearly see the classic Firebolt animation triggering off our melee swings. Now, watch what happens when we switch over to a Rough Wind Stone and recast Auto Spell. As we hit the dummy again, the character automatically triggers Lightning Bolt, even though I haven't placed a single skill point into the Lightning Bolt skill tree. The secret to this trick is simple: invest at least 9 skill points into any single bolt skill. And make sure to recast Auto Spell every time you swap your elemental stone. If you're wondering why you should adopt this specific setup, it boils down to 2 things: maximum resource efficiency and insane stat scaling. By utilizing the level 9 bolt trick, we are completely bypassing the need to waste dozens of precious skill points across multiple elemental trees, allowing us to redirect those points into utility and party survivability. Furthermore, this build is perfectly optimized to squeeze every ounce of value out of your INT stat. Once you hit that 3,500 INT threshold, your auto spell turns you into a relentless, fast-hitting, passive damage machine without forcing you into a tedious, active casting playstyle. It is the ultimate low-effort, high-reward blueprint for solo farming, boss hunting, and contributing massive utility to your party during crucial boss fights. If you found this guide helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update. That's it for now, lazy gamers. Thanks for watching, and enjoy ROX Global.